Well, now I was a 0313 by that time, so I was an LAV crewman.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right.
So
all right, okay. Explain that for me, because I'm okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's a bastard infantry MOS. They tossed me into that, and so that was about, instead of just going from SOI to the fleet, we did about 6 extra weeks of schooling. And then that's when I got to the fleet, was in Kuwait, right before everything kicked off. And it was just a company full of brand new dudes. And it was a weird time because we were the first ones to get issued the MARPATs. So, and then all the rest of the guys were all in the old tricolors. And supply was so jacked up that some of those dudes were wearing the chocolate chip camis from Desert Storm. It was just, I had... my flak vest was so old it wouldn't even Velcro. So the only way, I couldn't even put a plate in it. I only had one plate, so I had to choose whether I wanted to put it in my back or my front, and it wouldn't Velcro. So the LBV is what held the whole thing together. It was and going to what you said earlier, I never got hit, but I had a mortar land in front of the vehicle, and it sent shrapnel run. We'd hang our packs on the outside of the vehicle, and it sent shrapnel through the vehicle. And what was it? What was the packs we used back then? Not the Alice pack.
Oh, it was
the Molly
pack.
Yeah, and all my what was the shell? The E-tool that got covered in shrapnel. The pack. And I remember after that deployment was over, I went to SIF. And I was handing all the stuff, and the SIF guy was yelling at me for my stuff being so covered in these holes. Why is there so many holes in your stuff? I'm like, dude, have you not watched the news? There's been a war going on. But that's how new the war was, that like dudes were getting hit and not getting Purple Hearts, and people were, our stuff was jacked up from combat, and they were yelling at us like this happens in some training accident. So yeah, it was a weird time.
Yeah. And the LAV too. I remember the LAV, when I went through in 05, I actually helped go clean the LAVs, like their bay in Camp Horno or something. Or no, sorry, in
Los Flores.
Was it? Yeah. There's I think the training one, infantry school. Did you go west? You went West Coast.
Yeah, it's next to Horno. Horno is with First Marines is, I don't know.
Yeah. But they had the training. I remember going in there. And
at SOI there.
At SOI, yeah. I went to go clean that. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But LAV, by that point, it was weird because I think there's some reservists that were going to go, but I don't remember it ever being like, I don't want to say an option. It was weird. It was like in that weird, like, I don't remember people like, oh, I'm going to go be an LAV. I remember reservists maybe doing it, but that was it. Like,
I think reservists are the only ones that were allowed to like get that guaranteed.
Contract. Yeah.
I didn't know what LAVs were. They literally, I think every 2 or 3 cycles of SOI, they need a new class for LA, and they'll just pluck at random. I don't think there's some sort of, I think it's just alphabetical, and they're like, hey, we'll send these kids to LAV. And that's how it happened for me. I didn't choose to do that. They're like, all right, you're going to go to this LAV thing. I'm like, okay.
That's pretty sweet, though. But I mean, that is a pretty cool system. That's a pretty cool vehicle. Is it not? I mean, like,
it's old.
Yeah, it's old. Yeah.
It's cool. It's nice. It becomes your home. And unlike the regular infantry, there's, especially if you're a driver like I was that first deployment, better sleeping options. You have a little more space to yourself, which is nice. No, yeah, it's you grow to love those things. Yeah. Those old rust buckets. I seen them now. I was there at my old camp a year ago working on a documentary, and I got to see them, and oh man, they've done a lot of great work to those things. They're cool now.
So those, but back did they have the Bushmaster on them when you went through?
Yeah, still do, I believe.
Still Bushmaster.
25 Mike, yeah.
Yeah.
Bushmaster chain gun.
Yeah. They were like, I remember they're telling me about it, and they're like, dude, it's a chain gun. It's got a gyro stabilized thing, so it can it'll always keep the gun level, as you're like going 70 miles an hour, 80, whether they're like, yeah, you bomb with it. And
I think that's newer technology. Yeah.
Okay. This was 2005. They were telling me about it.
Oh, maybe. Okay. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, look, if you put me in a uniform right now and you drop me back in I wouldn't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah. No, it's so,
I went back there to screen a movie for my old battalion, and I'm like, oh, I'm the same age as the sergeant major and first sergeants here. So I'm not in touch anymore.
Oh, it's so weird thinking about that, because my buddies are either said they retired in July or are retiring. or they are first sergeant, sergeant major, and not a lot of them. As you know, infantry guys don't stick around too long, even,
Right.
you know, so it's like even a lot of guys I know aren't sticking around or making like, oh, that guy's my sergeant major, or sergeant major. Like, very few of those guys that I know. But that's pretty cool. So the LAV, so did you cross the border or did you cross into Iraq then in LAV? So you were full on LAR, correct?
Yeah,
Like,
first LAR, yeah.
First LAR.
We were, as far as I know, one of the first battalions to punch through that berm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so what was okay, so you get to your unit. I always like doing this because I have my own stories with this. So what was that like getting to the unit and then you're like, we're leaving? Like, what was the time frame? You stepped back to your, what unit? Sorry, the
First LAR.
First LAR.
Yeah.
So like you dropped your sea bags to, we're getting on that big U.S. Airways bird to go to Kuwait. I don't know if it was U.S. Airways when you were there or when you did it, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
I think we took a Delta flight.
Delta flight.
Yeah. It was a nice ride over.
Yeah. Oh, ours were too. Believe me, it was a nice ride over.
To Kuwait. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we took like a commercial flight to Kuwait and then checked in with our unit in Kuwait and
You checked in Kuwait?
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't even go to the barracks at First LAR.
No, I never.
Infantry school too.
I didn't know what Camp Pendleton fleet life was like until we were done with that deployment.
No shit.
We went straight from basically SOI to checking in with our unit in Kuwait about a week and a half before everything kicked off.
Really?
Yeah, I have very little recollection of that time period once we landed and then before we invaded. We ate in little makeshift chow halls. It was not as nice as it is now.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
You know, it was just tents and we'd go out and do a little training in the middle of the desert, and that was about it.
Dude, that's so awesome. I mean, like, I know people are like, that's wild. That's so awesome, though, if you know what the life is like in the Marine Corps, to be like, I'm going from infantry school to the war. That's like the best.
War, yeah.
I had 60 days, which was still great. But if the only way to make it better is to go from infantry school to the war.
Dude, I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better. I didn't know if that was not normal. It's just like, by the way, like, again, we were getting combat for our first time the same as our seniors were. There was probably a couple Desert Storm guys that were like staff NCOs, but like all of our corporals and it was a first for all of us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's like the best scenario for a boot.
Dude,
I
basically did Mojave Viper with people actually shooting at you.
That was
my
coyotes.
First, that was my first deployment. Yeah.
There's still some random coyote like, okay, you did good.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's awesome. Wow, that's crazy. So you showed up right out of infantry school. They took you on a bird, flew over, met with your unit. And so what was that like then? Like, said your NCOs are new. Were they like, all right, we're all in this together, you know?
You're
like,
on my
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, again, it was different back in those early 2000s. They could be aggressive with us. When, you know, that probably wasn't the best time. Yeah. But it was a different time.
Yeah, different time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, my guys were just, you know, they're like, all right, well, we got to train you up. Now, did we get to do stupid shit? We did, but like, it wasn't anything to any crazy extent. So yeah, but I imagine getting in, and I remember having the conversation with, because they had done Afghanistan, but this was 2004 Afghanistan, not like 2010, even though there's still a lot of firefights going on. They just weren't in a ton of them. And so when we got there, they were like, because it was everyone's first time to Iraq, they were like, we are all on the same page. Like I remember sitting there with my squad leader, like, this is new to all of us. We're all in this together. Even though they were seniors, they've seen some combat, but it was like, Iraq is a whole nother ball game. We're all in this together.
Yeah.
You know, now go and clean my shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Go to the shit, or go burn shit now for the next 7 months.
Yeah.
That's part of
I did a lot of that.
Yeah. Yep.
Shit burning. Yep. That was that. I remember that. I remember that probably more than I remember the gunfights. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I when people talk about Jarhead, the movie that had come out in 2005, they're like, did you burn shit? I'm like, yeah, I actually did. 20 years later or whatever.
It's still a thing.
And now the VA is catching up. now there's a lot of social media hubbub about it. Like, breathing in gasoline chemicals for
and human shit,
human feces for 7 months straight. It doesn't do well for your system.
No.
So, yeah, that's pretty wild. So what was you guys got to your unit and then Crossing that phase line, man. What was that like?
Again, I was just so brand new. I don't recall having any feelings other than I realized we were going to war. Don't get me wrong.
You're still there like, we're doing this?
Yeah,
We're doing this?
but it's more of a looking around like, okay, if my NCO is cool with it, then I'm cool with it type of thing. Yeah. Which, we didn't get contact until I think at least a week into it. Because we got hit with that big shamal or the big that storm that pretty much put the entire division stopped the entire American Armed Forces dead in its track for 24 or 48 hours.
Yeah, I think I remember reading about that.
I remember that, yeah. And then after that, I think is when we first got contact and things started happening. Once we got closer to Baghdad, and then we got in. That's when we start shooting.
Yeah. That's what I always ask. What's that like? That first like ping zing going by. You're like, is this? Because my first time's like that too. It's like, is that what it is? You're kind of like,
The first time I remember contact, it was us just unloading into a house, and I think we had the complete advantage. The first time I remember we took contact where I knew they were like shooting at us. That what I talked about earlier is all that shrapnel that went tearing through. I had a mortar. They L-shaped ambushed us, and mortar landed right in front of my vehicle, blew out 4 out of the 8 tires, and blew my pack up. And one of our scouts, I think he got concussion or something, knocked him down. And that was the first time I was like, okay, they're shooting at us. This is not good. But we effed them up as far as I know. Yeah.
They're shooting at us now.
Yeah, I was driving. I was driving. My job was to keep that vehicle going straight at 5 kph.
Yeah.
Stay on the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they blew out your tires. So
And they blew out my. I couldn't even do that. Yeah.
I couldn't even do that.